Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with two amazing concerti by Samuel Barber. This is the disc. This particular disc contains the violin concerto, the piano concerto, and also some wonderful orchestral pieces done in absolutely amazing performances. So let's just go through the entire contents, and then we can talk about it in a little bit more detail. You get the Barber Violin Concerto with Isaac Stern and Leonard Bernstein, which is the reference recording of that piece. It really is just a stunning performance. And Stern and Bernstein were perfect for that particular work because it's Barber's most romantically effulgent work. It just oozes yummy, delicious, vocal, passionate, warm, snuggly melodies. It's gorgeous, and it's fantastically well played. Then you get the piano concerto, here it is, with John Browning and George Szell. Another knockout of a performance, an unbelievably exciting performance. Szell thought so. Szell, when he heard it, just wrote to his producer or to Sony and just said, "Wow, this was just amazing. It's terrific." And it really, really is. It's never been equaled. Not even by John Browning, who redid it. And redid it quite well, but this performance just has an excitement and a take no prisoners by the throat sort of power sort of thing there. That's unbelievable. And the piano concerto is completely different from the violin concerto. The piano concerto, first of all, it's written for a much larger orchestra, and it's far spikier and more harmonically acerbic. It's very similar to like Bartók or Prokofiev of his second piano concerto. That kind of wrong note romanticism with like just lots and lots of crunching dissonance that's so appealing. It's absolutely fabulous. But it also has its share of gorgeous melodies in the second movement, for example, and also in the central section of the finale, which has a tune that sounds so much like Prokofiev. You know, it's yum bum ba da dum bum ba da 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 ba ba. It's really, gosh, it's wonderful. So that is another amazing performance with Szell and Browning, and then, oh, it's not over yet, because on this particular disc, this particular coupling, God knows if it still exists. Again, this is stuff that just gets coupled and decoupled and recoupled and excoupled and discoupled, and they just keep mixing it up. And, of course, there are box sets now with all these people, so all these performances have been detached and issued in bits, and it's so frustrating. Anyway, you'd think they would just put out an album like this one and then sell it and say, look, isn't this the greatest Barber album in the history of the universe? Everyone should own it. But no, that would be asking too much. It really would. Okay, so then you get the Adagio for strings. And the Adagista is no less than Eugene Ormandy with the Philadelphia Orchestra, which, let's face it, I mean, come on, folks. What better ensemble could you have to play the Barber Adagio for strings than Ormandy and Philly? And oh, do they ever play it. Remember, Barber was a Curtis person. He was a Philadelphia guy. So it's the hometown team, effectively. And oh, it's just so beautiful. And then you've got the second essay and the School for Scandal Orchestra. The School for Scandal Orchestra. What am I saying? The School for Scandal Overture. The overture with New York Philharmonic and Thomas Schippers, which comes from that terrific Thomas Schippers Barber disc, which was a separate Odyssey release, which had more stuff originally than this did. But no, they had to take a piece of that and plonk it on here, and I'm perfectly fine with that in this case because it just rounds out the disc with fabulous performances. The result is one of the all-time great classic Barber CDs in the history of mankind. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it in any way possible. Now, I have other incarnations of this stuff. There was a disc, I think, that had all three concertos. It had Yo-Yo Ma, I think, doing the cello concerto. That may have been on there. There were just all kinds of different things. And, of course, there was George Szell stuff with just Szell stuff. And there's Bernstein and Isaac Stern stuff with just Isaac Stern stuff. So there are millions of ways to find these. But, these are my favorite albums. I'm afraid that now that everything is starting to go like digital, the concept of album will just be gone. All that will be left is individual tracks, or if we're lucky, maybe complete works. But it doesn't make any difference because everything on this album is as good as it gets. And that's the point, isn't it? So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.